Have you set SMART goals for yourself, but you're consistently not hitting them? It might not be for the reasons that you're initially thinking. In today's episode of Free Mama Radio, I'm letting you know about a big aha moment that I had while at a business mastermind in San Diego and how it completely shifted the goals that I've set for myself and how I know that it will lead me to hit all of the goals I have in my business.
You're listening to Free Mama Radio, where we believe you can have both a successful business and show up as the mom you want to be. I'm your host, Lauren Golden, a mom who built a full-time income working part-time hours. Now, I help other moms like you learn how to work from home on your own terms, take control of your schedule, and make more money so you can live a totally awesome, guilt-free life. I am on a mission to make sure that no mother has to choose between family and financial stability. So if you've been wondering, can I really have it all? This podcast will give you the answers.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited that you are here with me today. I got the pleasure to travel to San Diego, California last Friday. I'm still here. My amazing husband has made it possible for me to stay an extra few days. So big shout out to my husband who got the kids to their very first day of camp in we just moved in November. So we had to go figure this all out on his own. And we were just really proud of Justin Golden this morning. He said they did great. They were excited. No one was sad. So we're very grateful for Justin. For those of you who don't know, San Diego is my happy place. I actually went to college out here. So I have lots of friends out here. And when I found out that a business mastermind that I am in was hosting its first live event since I've been part of this group, COVID made everything really crazy. And it was the first live event. And I was like, do I go? Why do we do this to ourselves? Do I go? I'm not sure, maybe, but inside you're like, you need to go. Like, why are you second guessing this? You need to get your butt in that room. You need to see real people. You need to work on yourself. You need to reevaluate your business. You need to work on your business, not in your business. I have a whole episode of Free Mama Radio, by the way, where I talk about the importance of going to events. So if y'all haven't listened to it, I made it a while ago, but go check that out. It is so important. And yet I sat on the fence. I did exactly what I teach you guys not to do. You guys, my crotch hurt because I was on the fence. And finally I was like, you know what? If I could also see my friends whom I have not seen in years, like you guys, like I cried, like my best friends, it would all be worth it, right? But I needed the husband on board because it was 3 days just for the event and it would be an extra couple days, including travel to see my friends. He said yes. They were only available literally Monday for dinner because they have lives. They have kids. One of them doesn't live in the city. One of them just went back to law school at like 35 years old because she is a bad A. And I love my friends so dearly and everybody was on board. So I got off the fence and I decided to come. And so I am still here. I'm enjoying the last hour of my hotel room and being without anybody needing me or having to pick up after myself, which is a delight. So if you can create that space in your world, I highly encourage you guys to do that. All right. We are coming off of 2 days of being at a business mastermind. So do you guys think I'm hype right now? Like we're super hype. We got the ideas flowing. We're like, super grounded and rooted in what we're doing. And what I realized was over the weekend is that how many of you guys have goals? So that's what we're actually talking about right now. Why you're not hitting your goals. How many of you have goals? Maybe you've actually done like SMART goals and you've listened to the Free Mama resources, or I didn't make up SMART goals, by the way, but like you've actually sat down and thought of a plan and there's like revenue that you want coming in, right? Who here has a revenue goal, meaning you have a cash money goal? Probably a lot of you, right? It's one of the first things we do as business owners is we sit down and we look at that revenue and maybe how much revenue, how much money you need to make is that goal that will help you quit your job. Right? That was my first goal, right? It was like, well, if I can have about $2,000 coming in, remove the child's care, like we can make things work. Like that was the first goal that I had. And then you think bigger, right? Either because you want more or maybe because you think you should. How many of your goals are something that you think you should do because you've met a previous goal? So you feel like you should, all over yourself, you feel like you should set a bigger goal. Because that's what everybody on the internet's doing, right? You got to up level, you got to grow. If you're not growing, you're dying, like all these things, right? And we start to do this to ourselves. And what I realized this weekend with the help of some really beautiful humans, which again, that's part of the reason of having a coach or having a mastermind or being in a program or going to live events where you're not in your day-to-day life and routines. You get disrupted, you get removed from it, and then you're able to see things a little bit differently. What I realized for me personally this weekend was I have not been hitting some of my financial goals. And maybe you haven't hit some of your goals. And maybe it's been really frustrating. And maybe part of you, like on the one side, is really disappointed. And you're like, oh gosh, I'm not hitting my goals. Like, I suck, or I'm failing, or like maybe this isn't for me, or it's not working, or what's the matter with me, or all of these like negative thoughts about why we're not doing it. Right. But on the other side, sometimes we can make excuses for ourselves. And I'm valid or not, I'm telling you the internal dialogue that I've had. On the other side, we can say things like, well, like, I'll get to it when I get to it, or like, it'll happen when it's meant to be. And by the way, none of these things they're just things. They're just observations. I'm not saying these are good, bad, right, wrong, anything. But it's like on the one side, we kill ourselves over it. We beat ourselves up and all of a sudden we're not worthy. And on the other side, we're making all kinds of excuses, right? Who feels me? Have you ever done this before? I know that I have. So let's come to the realization. Lauren Golden has not been hitting her goals. Let's make this about me because this is my problem, but I have a feeling that some of you guys are going to be able to relate. And I hope that the aha moment that I had and I'm about to share with you is going to help you recalibrate some of your goals so that we're not making excuses and we're not beating ourselves up. Cool? So my aha moment this weekend had to do with sitting in a room full of amazing business owners. Like, you have to be earning a certain amount of revenue to even be invited to this event. It's intimidating. Okay. It's intimidating. And the very first thing that we do, and we get, the worksheet and the handout, and it's going along with it. And then the very first conversation, the first speaker, all has to do with your strategic vision. And we get this goal planning worksheet to go along with our vision, meaning where are you going? What are you heading? What do you want to accomplish? And the very first line on it is a revenue goal, money, right? And I'm looking at it and I'm like feeling very triggered and frustrated and detached and mad at myself a little bit, where I'm kind of going back and forth between like, it's going to happen. And I do believe that, by the way, it's going to happen, but it's not happening right now. And at some point we got to like realize that there is an excuse going on, and why isn't it happening right now? And maybe it's a good reason, maybe it's not, but I'm oscillating between, well, I know that this revenue goal is going to happen. And then on the other side, I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I really felt detached is the best word. And yet it was the first conversation of the event. It was the first line on the worksheet. And I'm sitting there going like, I don't know anymore. How many of you have felt that? Have you ever just been like, I don't know why I'm doing this? Like, maybe it would be easier not to. By the way, I realized that in this room of 7-figure business owners, almost everyone has thought that. And what we realized as a collective group yesterday is that the reason that most business owners would rather walk away from their company than find some other solution is because of control. It's like, well, then if at least it fails because I said so. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I digress. So we've got this worksheet. We've got this thing. What's your vision? Blah, blah, blah. Revenue. What's your sales goal? What's your, income goal? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting there and I'm feeling really lost. Have you ever felt really lost? Like, okay, I like what I'm doing. I like my clients. Like, I love y'all, by the way. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not burning anything to the ground. We're just getting real and raw with what we do at these events and what we talk about, in case y'all are curious. And I'm just, so from the get-go, I'm there, I'm receptive, I'm ready to learn, but I just keep thinking like, how? Like, I'm looking at this revenue goal and I just keep going like, but how do I do that? How do I get there? Like, how many of you have set a revenue goal and then all you can think about is, but how am I actually going to do that? If that's you, this message, you got to turn it up and you might need to listen to it twice. Okay. Because this is for you. Flash forward to that evening. There was a beautiful soul at the event who made a dinner reservation because anybody who didn't have reservations had to find food somewhere outside of the hotel because they were booked. And I made friends with this wonderful individual. Some of you even helped me help him over on Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you need to because we help other people. His name was Kelly. He's brilliant and he has no online presence, no social media at all. And he's really scared. And a lot of free mamas banded together. And you guys, he could not have been more grateful or more impressed. Like within an hour, like 40 of you guys gave him advice about getting started, putting yourself out there. And on behalf of Kelly and myself, we are both very grateful. So Kelly is a brilliant person who made a dinner reservation and then snatched like 3 of us entrepreneurs to come join him for dinner at this table of 4. We would not have had food without Kelly. Okay. And we're sitting there and all of them are older than me. All of them have been in business 20 plus years. They still have challenges. Remember, there's no struggle-free life, but I'm sitting there going, wow, I have an amazing opportunity to just be friendly and yada, yada, or to ask these people who are so much wiser than me, not smarter, not better, wiser. They've been doing this longer. And I got a moment of courage to go, okay, would y'all mind if I asked you a question? And they were like, no, not at all. And I said, okay, here's my question. How do you all know what your strategic vision is? Like, how do you all know how to set your goals in a way that both push you and expand you, but also like are in alignment with where you want to go and don't get you to like shrink down and be like, but how do I do that? How do I do that? Like, I'm not good enough and sink into that imposter syndrome. And something really amazing happened. I shut up. It's seriously amazing, y'all, because I love to talk, but I just shut up and I listened. And like the wise people they are, instead of just talking at me, they started to ask me a lot of questions about what I wanted and what was important to me in my business. And like, I'm very clear on my mission. A lot of you know my mission. You could probably say it right now if I asked you. The mission of the Free Mama is to make sure no mother has to choose between family and financial stability. A lot of you probably know that. It's probably why you're here, because you resonate with that language. Now, my power pitch is I help moms ditch the 9-to-5 to work from home and live a totally awesome guilt-free life. What started to become very apparent is as these people were asking me questions, I started to get kind of like I'm doing, I started to get very dynamic. I started to get very passionate. And they were like, well, why is that mission important? Like, how many people do you want to reach with it? And I'm like, everybody, like literally everybody. Like, I care because I remember how I felt when I was trapped at a job. I had failed at network marketing. I had 2 kids under 2, and I felt like I was failing across the board. I was miserable. I cried almost every day. I had no energy for myself, no energy for my partner. I felt like a crappy mom. I resented everybody at my job. It was a toxic environment, and I felt trapped. Not just trapped like, oh, I can't leave, but trapped like there is no option for me. Trapped. Y'all feel me? Have you ever felt that? Probably. It's probably why you're here, right? So they're asking me all these questions and I'm getting like very dynamic and very worked up because now I'm not thinking about a revenue goal. I'm not really thinking tangibly in terms of goals at all. I'm just talking about the thing that I care about. I'm talking about the thing that I like doing. And from that, they were able to like mirror back to me, like, here's what we hear you saying. And it doesn't have anything to do with how many millions you earn. It has to do with impact. Like these were the things they're saying. They're like, so what if your goal, and some of you have heard me do this, like for me, the Free Mama, I want to be, so many people know about it that it's like, for me, I felt like my only choices were like, I have to be a Pinterest mom and I have to learn to like glitter and like be really good at staying home with my kids full time and doing crafts and all of these things that developmentally are important to them, but I despise as a human. I'm not cut out for it. Or like, because I have to earn money and I like to earn money, I have to like go back to corporate or like stay corporate and like climb the ladder and like get the corner office and like girl power. Like those were the messages that back in 2015, those are the only messages I was getting from society. And for me, when I think about like strategic vision, thanks to these wise people, I'm like, my vision is for literally every mother to know that there is an opportunity to be self-employed that doesn't rely on network marketing or MLMs, that has a very high success rate, that is very high in demand, that's an industry that's not going anywhere, that doesn't require you to stay home, but you can if you want to, or you can put your kids in childcare, because guess what? You get to define what totally awesome and guilt-free looks like for you. And you could get a corner office if you want to, but you don't have to do it by climbing anything. You get to do it on your own terms. And y'all, I was like sweating. I was super worked up and super passionate. And so I realized that the reason I wasn't hitting my goals is because I was focusing on the wrong goals. I was focusing on a dollar sign, and these are my products, and I need to reach this many people, and blah, 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 blah. And we all have to do that, by the way, as business owners. It's not that you can't make sales. If you're not making sales, if you're not bringing on clients in your business, you don't have a business. So it's not that these things aren't important, but how many of you have heard the saying, what you focus on grows? What you focus on, what gets your attention, like that's the thing that's going to expand. That's the thing that is going to consume your thoughts and your time. And I was so focused on my revenue goals and building and, talking to people and ads and yada, 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 that I lost track that, like, if I stay focused on, let's break it down. Everybody's a lot of people. There's like billions of people in the world, and that's cool. That's a great goal. How do we chop that down a little bit? Just like we would a revenue goal, right? Like you can't start with like, well, I want to make $100,000 if you haven't made anything. We got to start with the first thing. I want to get on one client, or I want to fill next month with projects. Like we start small. And so my first goal, what I came out this weekend, and I actually got that was the first night. And so yesterday I actually got to share with a group of people, is my goal is to reach 1 million mothers with my message. That's it. Do you see how now, if I'm focused on reaching 1 million mothers with my message, that the activities that I'm going to do are going to be a lot different than the activities that I would do if I'm sitting there focused on a revenue goal. And here's the kicker, lean in if you're not hitting your goals, because you will now be in alignment with the thing that actually fuels you, the thing that actually feels important to you, right? The money will come. It's so tricky, right? But it's true. The money will come as a byproduct of you setting the intentional goal, the thing you actually care about, the thing that lights you up, that's going to have the impact. The money will come. And so I'm not saying don't have a revenue goal. I do have a revenue goal. But what I realized was when I focused on it, I got small. The limiting beliefs creeped in. I kept asking myself, how do I do that? But you know what's really cool? As soon as I switched my focus to, I'm going to reach 1 million mothers with my message, I know exactly what to do. I got goosebumps. I know what to do that, because there's more synergy. It's more in alignment, right? And again, the byproduct of being in alignment and having these goals that actually feel good rather than feeling intimidating is the other goals are going to happen as a result. Woo! Talk about preaching. Okay, we are feeling so good and inspired today. I hope that this resonated with some of you guys. I would love to hear from you. Seriously, send me a message, share this, because now you know my goal. Like, I want women to know that they have this opportunity called being a free mama. And if they buy my course, cool. If they don't, that's not my main focus. My main focus is making sure that they know that they can. Because a lot of people come into my community not even knowing about freelancing, not even knowing that there's an opportunity to be self-employed without having to sign up for an MLM. They don't know. So you can help me reach my goals by sharing this if this was impactful for you. And actually, I'd love to communicate that in order to make this easier for you to share with other people, I'm going to start doing my lives on Facebook from my page. Because I love our community. I love our Facebook group. It is my home away from home. It is my place on the internet, but you all can't share the message from there, but you can share it from the page. So I'm going to start doing the lives from the page. So make sure you like the Free Mama page. And what I'm going to do for you guys, because I love you so much and because I still want to keep that connection and I want our group to stay a special place, is I'm actually going to do a live Q&A following the live message that I do every Monday at noon Central, just inside the Facebook group. So if you just want the message, cool. If you just want the behind the scenes, cool, but it might not make as much sense to ask questions if you didn't hear the message. And so you'll be able to get me in a couple different places. It'll keep our group special and interactive and allow us to have these conversations that fuel me more than anything. If y'all have ever met me or you've been in this community a while, you know that I literally do what I do because of you. And now that makes sense. Now that I've shared what my vision is to reach you. It's literally why I do what I do. So we will probably start that change next week. So y'all make sure you like the page, turn on those notifications so you get it, or at noon central, just make sure that's where you're heading to get that. I know there'll be a little learning curve, and then we'll pop inside the Facebook group and I'll do a live Q&A afterwards. But again, if you guys are on Instagram, y'all can go ahead and share it. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I really, really appreciate you. I know that what we are doing here, not just me, not just my team, but big shout out to those ladies. They are unbelievable. I'm only going to be able to do what I do with you. Truly, 1 million people, that's not a small goal. So the fact that you guys are here and what we do resonates with you is really, really important. So again, if y'all ever have ideas, feedback, anything, please know how receptive we are to those things. It is very important. All right. So thank you guys again. I will see you next week, and maybe take a few minutes today to sit back and reevaluate your goals. Are they in alignment with the vision that you have for yourself? Pro tip, make sure that your vision isn't all wrapped up in you. It's hard. It's hard when you're first starting. I want to be really clear. Like when I first left my 9 to 5, I don't know that I could see beyond the tip of my nose because I was so enveloped in how overwhelmed and stressed out I was. You're going to have to do that inner work to get past that, because if your vision doesn't include helping other people, it's not going to go as far as it would. Okay. So keep that in mind when you guys are thinking about what you're doing. I'm not talking just about your why. Your why can be very personal to you, but the more we can shift that perspective outwards and bring other people in to also care about what we do, you're going to go a lot further. I promise. All right. Okay. You guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Free Mama Radio. Don't forget to check out Free Mama TV right here on YouTube for hundreds of how-to videos and interviews to help you start, grow, and scale a virtual business from home. If you want to join a community of tens of thousands of moms just like you, make sure you join the Free Mama Movement group over on Facebook. And lastly, if you want to learn more about how we can do this together, work to achieve your goals, and make you our next success story, check out my free training at thefreemamamovement.com. I'll see you next time.